Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. This is another mini-sode that I'm doing without my regular crew. Joining me today is the one, the only Philip Richfield Jr.
How you doing, everybody?
We're driving, so I'm going to be a little distracted during this episode. Hope you don't mind. But Phil has been a good friend of mine for a number of years, or at least a good pretending to be friend for the benefits of my friendship.
Yeah, benefits of the friendship, but none of the negativities of actually being associated with Ian.
Oh, thanks. See, I keep telling Milan and Bill that I'm not really the meanest person they'll ever meet. My friends are just some cold bastards.
Cold-blooded.
And today we're going to be talking about God of War, because Phil and I are huge God of War fans. We actually played the second game together for the first time that we... When the second game first came out, we played through it together. So we've been God of War fans for a number of years, and we're just going to talk about the series a little bit, go over the first three games. Have you played any of the PSP games at all?
I started playing the first one. I don't even remember who owned it, but I didn't really get into it because it wasn't one that I owned, and I only had a PSP for I think only 3 or 4 months, and I was playing Dissidia.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Final Fantasy game.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, so we won't talk about the PSP games much. I'll probably end up bringing them up, but they're not hugely important. So, let's talk about what about the first game really drew you into it? Besides, the main seller for the game was its huge levels of brutality. But was there anything else that really sucked you into it?
Well, I've always kind of been a fanboy of Greek mythology, honestly. I would just randomly during school, I'd look up random facts about all the gods and the various bastard children and just the complexities of them. And they're supposed to be these higher beings, and then you add violence into it, gratuitous violence, and I mean that's two things that I love. I was sold.
Well, yeah, and that's actually, you're not reading the current Wonder Woman books, but that's something that's been, criticized very heavily is, why is it so bloody and stuff? And they've been using a lot more of the Greek mythology, putting their own spin on it. But why is it so bloody and stuff? And the thing is, Greek mythology was always really violent, really disgusting, base, barbaric kind of mentalities that these people had. And, God of War was really the thing that brought that back. We'd always kind of, before God of War, we'd kind of idealized the Greek myth to a point, but after that, look at all the stuff that started coming out. You had 300, which wasn't very mythic, but it definitely got more into the bloody side of things, even though it came out before God of War, but the film came out because of that. And then you got, movies like Clash of the Titans, which, while not great, definitely got more of that brutal, disgusting, violent kind of mythology. And God of War, I think, was the thing to point to that really, really kicked that off.
Yeah, I consider it the spearhead of that, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, see?
Violent imagery.
Exactly. But, one day, back when we were in school, I looked up, Ares. I just randomly looked up Ares. And he was the first guy to be put on trial for raping his sister. That's fucking horrible.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking horrible, and he's just as big of a douche in the first game.
Oh, God.
I mean, who throws a fucking stalactite or whatever the fuck that was.
No, it was a broken pillar.
Broken pillar. It don't matter. Who throws that like half across the fucking world just to kill one guy? Like, that's fucked up. and he's not even super powered. So how the hell is he gonna know that that's coming? Like, what? As it's stabbing his stomach, he's like, oh shit. And then he, like, come on now. He was shitty enough to, get out of hell. Like, that's how you know he's a badass motherfucker. Samuel Jackson should have played Kratos.
Actually, you look at the guy. I didn't know this, but it turns out the guy that played him was black. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's awesome. I mean, Kratos is obviously about as white as you can get, skin tone wise.
Especially with those ashes on him.
I know. Anyway, so like the first game probably has one of the most badass. Like something that always got me about the first game is there's that scene. Like you press the start button, and I don't think anything else does this. You press the start button, and your menu screen is your opening cinematic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the fire fades away, and then it's the opening cinematic. And Kratos says something like, "At last, it's at an end," or something to that effect.
Talks about how the gods abandoned him. And,
yeah.
Like, fuck the world.
And then you get a shot of his feet, and it just kind of hovers there. I was expecting a menu to pop up or something. Like, didn't it, like, it's lingers there just long enough that it doesn't look like actual video. It looks like it's supposed to, be a loop, like a menu, or you're supposed to press something. So anyways, those feet pop up, and it's just, like, such an, big opening scene, a character committing suicide. I don't think I've seen that done in a game before.
To start it off, actually, I don't think unless my game, memory is just fading me right now. Maybe my memory card's not loading, but I can't think of another one that has done that either. Yeah,
it did a lot of really interesting things, and what I'm making my point here is that God of War always gets criticized for being a very unoriginal, uninspired story. And I mean, maybe more so with the later games, but the first game really was very unique in several ways. In that it also was, like the plot of, he's a guy out for revenge, cliche. Sure, but the thing is, that's a very Greek tragedy plot,
Oh, for sure.
That's like the hero's journey kind of thing. Not Greek tragedy, but Greek hero plot. It's very, it went hand in hand with, the stories of Hercules by the time you got to the end of it. I mean, obviously it contradicts other Greek myths in telling it, but that's fine because you get the sense that all these things can be reset.
Yeah. In
some way or another.
It seems like something that could be in place in that time frame. You just add Kratos. Kratos is, he's not a real character in the mythology, but if he was, that's how shit probably would have went down.
It was a very believable one. And I mean, certainly by the time you get to the last game, or the third game, it's not as believable for being able to reset and like this took place along with the Greek myths. Mm-hmm. The first game definitely, and they left it at a place where it could have definitely had taken place. But obviously they told their own unique story, and I mean it was a very unique story to me. And I hate when people criticize it. Oh, it's just this cliche revenge plot. Well, I mean, yes, it's a revenge plot, but I mean, gods and being the son of Zeus and stuff like that, those reveals were all genuinely surprising because they fit perfectly, but you didn't see him coming.
Exactly.
Some of the things Kratos did, like, I love the scene in the second game where he comes, like, after he defeated the Sisters of Fate and then went back to when Zeus killed him earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I love that scene. He comes out there and he pulls the sword out of his own dying body. It's like, Zeus goes, "The Sisters of Fate have smiled upon you. The sisters are dead." So yeah, I mean, like, you've heard that. The people say it's not a very, like, unique or very interesting story.
There's a problem with that. After the first, I'd say, century of people creating stories, everything began being reused. Like, no matter what people say, you can't do something anymore without reusing it. You might revamp it, restylize it, modernize it, whatever what word you want to use on it, but you're still using something that's already been used. Because your core idea will always be the same as something else.
Aristotle said there are only 4 stories: man versus himself, man versus the world, man versus man, and romance.
That sounds about right.
I mean, like, seriously, once you boil it down to those basic elements, and that's the thing is, all stories, you know, no matter how unique or how interesting you get, you can probably boil it down to one of those 4 elements.
If not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely cross them and, you know, breed them and everything, but you're gonna boil it down, it will break down to that. So, you know, being original or being unique isn't as important as telling a story well.
That will captivate people. That's what you need. That captivating thing. Mm-hmm. And with Kratos, it was his just straight shot, just revenge. That's all he fucking cares about. Just straight revenge. He doesn't care
after the first game, of course, because he doesn't so much want to kill Ares as he just wants.
He wants Ares on a platter. He blames Ares for him killing his family.
No, but why he was working for the gods was because he wanted to forget that Ares made him kill his family. Remember? And
they said, "You kill Ares." Then he's like, "All right, that's whoever gets fucking hurt along the way."
True.
Like, once he's got his idea set, or his plan set, it doesn't matter who gets hurt in the crossfire. In all of them. I even believe in the PSP games he probably does that too.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's Kratos. Kratos is expected to kill innocents because he doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, those were, like, that was the really fucked up part. Like, that was the one that made me feel bad when, in the first game, like, you get trapped in this area where you have to fight these giant-ass cyclops or whatever, and, like, there are all these innocent people running around, and if you kill them, you get health. And so you, like, really had to feel bad for doing that, because these people are just running around, they're not trying to do anything.
You felt bad. I think I got into the Kratos character pretty well. I mean, I do have the mask to prove it.
Back in the midnight release for the third game, Phil and I both showed up at the GameStop that we showed up at the same GameStop, and they were having contests and giving stuff away. And one of them was do a Kratos voice impression, and we'll give you this Kratos mask.
While you're wearing the mask.
Yeah, while you're wearing the mask. So I put on the mask, and I do my best one, and, like, I got some support, and then Phil put on the mask, and he wins, and, like, he never lets me forget that he has this mask, so I can't wait for the day that he loses it, because I'm just going to openly mock him forever.
Well, see, it's funny, because there was, like, what, maybe 4 or 5 other people who did it?
Yeah.
And none of them had any chance, in my opinion. And Ian did it, and Ian had the
emotion, right? Just not the sound.
He had the emotion, like he was willing to take the, you know, beating to his eardrums. Like, I put that thing on and spoke, and I was like, wow, that's, like, horrible. So I just said it in, you know, a black voice, because I kind of cheated, you know, with Kratos' voice being black and all. So that's why I won. But he had the emotion for it. He certainly did. I'm not going to take that from him. But I got the mask, so that's what's important.
So anyway, Phil will hold that over my head forever, and that's fine. I don't care, because guess what? I have a God of War sword, Phil! Ha ha!
I'm black. I'll steal it from you. Ha ha ha.
You're not coming to my house.
We got to. My car's there. And I'm in your car.
Alright, anyway.
You're fucked. But
the one thing, while we're still on story though, the one thing, God of War 3 really isn't its own story, in my opinion. God of War 3 is seriously just like the payoff from the cliffhanger of God of War 2.
Oh yeah, dude. 3 is, because honestly, it's just so satisfying, in my opinion, and most people who play the game's opinion, to cut Hermes' fucking legs off, because that shit-talking bitch just kept, oh, Kratos, you're so fucking slow, I hate you, I'm so fast. I'm like, bitch,
I'm cutting off your
run
legs.
without that leg that I just cut off. Oh, you're only crawling? Oh, well, shit, you don't need this one then. Fuck it, I like your boots. Like, I think I'll keep them.
Give me those kicks, nigga.
Yeah. Fuck it. Kratos is black. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Dude, if there was an alternate take of the dude saying that in the Kratos voice, that would be ridiculous.
I'm digging your kicks, bitch. Come up off those. That'd be Kratos right there. But of course, he'd be yelling the whole thing. Because, like I said, Samuel L. Jackson should have been Kratos. Like, if they make a movie, it needs to be Jackson. I don't care how old he is. If anybody talks otherwise, Chuck Norris and Clint Eastwood will finish him.
Okay.
But the 3, back on 3.
Yeah.
It is such a wonderful, wonderful thing. And sorry if we spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played it.
These are always spoilers. Don't worry about it.
Oh, well.
Spoiler.
When you beat the shit out of Zeus at the end, and it doesn't end till you stop.
Like, yeah, that thing with, like, how long did you press that circle button?
Like, okay.
I pressed it till my thumb was sore.
I played that game, like, on every single difficulty except for easy.
Oh, okay.
And on the hardest, me and Barlow actually had to team up. That's how fucking ass they wanted to be. We had to team up. Me being a hardcore gamer and him being just, him. We had to team up to beat that game. But when we got to that point, and we actually had to do rock, paper, scissors to see who beat Zeus. But when we got to that point, we both took turns. Like, when the other would get tired, we'd give the controller to the other one to punch Zeus's bloody pulp face mesh in. And, like, we did that for, like, 2 hours. Like, you can literally do that till your fucking game console burns out. Or the game freezes or whatever. Like, there's no end to it.
That's awesome.
And that's the only way it could have ended. The only way. Because that game is just pure, like, this is the fruit of the efforts for going through the other games and getting to this point. Feel free to beat Zeus's head until it no longer exists, and then you're beating the ground under it. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I felt, even with the noise, it was just mush, and you're punching ground.
Yeah.
Covered in mush.
Mm-hmm. Like that line from Sin City at the end. After a while, I'm just pounding chunks of wet bone into the barn floor. Oh, God. That was awesome.
That's actually a very, very good reference.
Yeah.
Very good reference.
Well, alright, so obviously this game changed the gameplay. So we talked about the story, and we felt satisfied with it. I mean, I'll admit that it's nothing, brand new, it's nothing revolutionary, but it's still very compelling, very interesting story. And it's a game story, and those usually aren't that good.
Yeah, there's been some horrible games. Terminator Salvation.
Oh, God, that was so painful. I couldn't even play 15 minutes into that.
Dude, I didn't finish it, and I always finish my games.
Alright, so anyway, let's talk about the gameplay dynamic, because this really, name another game that spawned this many clones that were actually good.
See, and thank you for bringing that up, because people have hated on the clones of God of War, and I think it's stupid, because, one, the gameplay's been used. But so what? If it's enjoyable, enjoy it. Like Dante's Inferno. It pretty much just, like, okay, we're leaving Greek behind and we're going to Christianity. Darksiders, another Christianity version. But unlike Dante's Inferno, Darksiders was like God of War, and they took their own spin to it. Like, who would think that the Horsemen of the Apocalypse would be the ones to cause the apocalypse, even by accident, or being framed? I mean, I haven't played 2 yet.
Okay.
But I want to. But, I mean, War, he was a Kratos clone as well. I mean, he's War.
Yeah.
Like, Kratos was the god of War. I mean, but still, like, what way they did it, I mean, with the Watcher, they added their own little spices to it.
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno, a man after his bitch. Mm-hmm. Like, classic Mario shit.
Yeah.
But with, Christianity and gratuitous violence and nudity. Like, nudity's never bad. As long as you're old enough.
Was there another game like that? Was so much fun with the sex scenes. In the God of War games.
I don't think there's another game that's done that.
That was so much fun to play. Like I always.
You always give it to that bitch, don't you?
Yes, it's so much. Like the PSP game, the second one had the best because you're Kratos. It takes place while you're the God of War, and you walk into Sparta and go into a brothel. And just there's just a scene, and you keep seeing all these bitches run into the room that you're in.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Well, I mean, he is a God of War. He probably has a higher amount of stamina.
Oh, it's just.
And I mean, that's saying something to a man who can give it to Aphrodite and she fucking be like, God damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's Aphrodite. That girl's got to be like hot dog down a hallway, man.
No, she's the goddess of love. I guarantee you, it's always tight. She just like waves her fingers or twiggles her nose or whatever the fuck she does, and it's like boop, back down to virgin. Mario sound effect. No,
inappropriate video game sound effects sounds like an awesome skit.
Oh, well, you got it recorded. Remember that. But yeah, the gameplay that has spawned, in my opinion, the most successful generic versions.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, we were talking about this earlier today. Obviously, there's the downside of that. There are definitely bad clones.
Oh, well,
Sonic Unleashed.
But like I said earlier, any game where you mix a hedgehog with a werewolf, even though, yes, you did bring up a good point. You like Sonic, you like werewolves.
I should have loved that game, but no. Even I knew it was going to be a piece of shit.
What they did wrong is they made Sonic a werewolf. If they would have incorporated werewolves, that's one thing.
That'd been cool. Sonic versus a werewolf.
Yeah,
I'd play that.
Sonic, that would actually probably be
Sonic versus the Universal Monsters.
Yeah,
you play that game?
I'd play that game.
Okay.
I'd play the fuck out of that game.
I mean, the Secret of the Rings actually looked pretty badass. I want to play that.
Well, I mean,
just like the ending was fucking awesome.
Sonic's been kind of ruined for me because I had very, very, very high hopes, and I don't want to hear it from anybody. I had very high hopes for Shadow's game, and then they made him use vehicles. Why the fuck is a hedgehog that can run faster than anything but one other hedgehog need a fucking vehicle?
I don't mind. We got to do a Sonic video in the future, Phil.
Yeah.
I don't mind Sonic driving a car or on a hoverboard or a skateboard or something for a small segment of the game.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you're in the middle of something and you get you go onto the path that puts you on a skateboard or in a car for a section of the path, that's fine. That's cool. That's a fun little way to, spice
it
up
up.
The gameplay. But to just do shit, what the fuck?
Like
All-Star Racing, they're in cars. The whole fucking game. Sonic R was a terrible game, but it had the right concept. They're running and they're racing each other. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, God of War. We gotta wrap this up because we're almost here. God of War. Gameplay, fantastic. Story, satisfactory to the point of very enjoyable if you like the character. Character, very, very impactful. It's become a mascot of Sony. Anything else that you'd like to add about this? Where you come down or have feelings about the game series?
I feel the way that they incorporated each character that's already been iconed, as in the Greek gods, and then to throw in this new guy who just completely shakes up that world. No matter what anyone says, they did an amazing job in taking something that was already known and making it their own.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great point to end on, so thanks for joining us. We'll try to do more of these mini episodes. Like I said, Phil and I will do a Sonic video because we both are big Sonic fans.
Oh yeah.
So see you guys next time.
Alright, peace.